It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catalfamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. I'd like to thank you for joining me. On today's show, we are talking about the Verde Valley Homeless Coalition, and I am joined to my right is Executive Director Rhonda Bishop, and to her right is Board President Carol Quasula. Thank you both for coming on the show.
Good to be here.
Thank you.
I thought we'd start out kind of just with a brief history of the coalition, how it got started, and where we're at today.
I will leave that to Carol because she's been involved longer than me.
I will start that. So as being a Verde Valley resident for many, many years, 10 of my years were spent with Catholic Charities. And at that time, I mean, we've always addressed homelessness in this community, but we did it as an advisory board. And in 2018, I was approached by Raina Avalon at that time, and we really got serious and realized we needed to move past the advisory and actually become a nonprofit organization and begin to put down roots and services to actually make a difference in this community. So 2018, we became the Verde Valley Homeless Coalition nonprofit organization.
Rhonda, how about your involvement? How did you get involved with this?
I answered an ad on Facebook for an executive assistant, and I joined the team in August of 2020, and then in January I was made executive director.
Wow, so you've on fairly recently.
Yes.
Oh, yes. August 2020, right at the tail end of the pandemic that's still going on.
Right. Right.
So I honestly would like to ask, how did the coalition fare during COVID? I know that the beginning and middle of 2020, and even honestly the end and now, the pandemic's still going on, but how did the coalition fare during that really annoying time last year?
Very annoying.
Yeah.
Just from my predecessor, I learned that as with most nonprofits, all of our volunteer base was virtually gone. Of course, many people that have time to volunteer are seniors, and their health concerns overweighed what we were trying to do. But as a board, they decided to keep the coalition open because when so many restrooms were closing, so many public services that are out there, there was no place for people to wash their hands. And so the board made a decision to stay open, and I think it was the right one because we then saw the people. By the time I arrived in August, I arrived to a very healthy community. In fact, we are really lucky that none of our folks have come down sick. And so, yeah, we didn't fare well, but we made it. And that meant that a lot of times it was me mopping the floor. We had some volunteers from the homeless community themselves that came in and were really instrumental in keeping us open and keeping us running.
Yeah, it's a shame. Obviously shutting down those public facilities for health reasons, and there's a population of people that are affected by something like that. Whereas we see kind of closing the bathrooms down as, I guess I'll just have to start using the bathroom at home or work. Whereas some people really do rely on certain amenities like that to really kind of get through their day-to-day lives.
Yes.
So where are we at with the state of the homeless population here in the Verde Valley? Are you guys seeing more people coming in, less people? Where are we at right now with that?
We've actually seen an increase in the past 2 months, whether it's from people coming out of the heat, travelers. We have a lot of travelers going through on their way to someplace like California. Honestly, is a destination for a lot of people because it's not too hot, not too cold, and so they are in the process of relocating. People on foot, people on bicycles. I mean, it's actually incredible how they make their way across. I have one man that came from Florida, and he stayed with us for about a week, and then he just journeyed on. And so we've actually seen quite an increase in people here and people that decide that they're going to make the valley their home.
Yeah, and the coalition a little bit different. Can you kind of explain to me a little bit, like when somebody comes in, what services are offered to them? What's kind of the end game here when they join the coalition or they come into the coalition? Can we talk a little bit about that process they go through?
Sure. When they first come in, we are part of the continuum of care, which our goal is to end homelessness. So we have a frank conversation with them. How long have you been homeless? What is your goal? And what are you working? Do you want to work? Find out really what they're about. And sometimes it takes a few visits to establish that amount of trust. Some people are very forthcoming when they first get there. So it just depends on them. But we fill out some paperwork on them, and then we can work on helping them achieve those goals. So if your goal is to work, okay, great, let's sit down on Indeed, let's look at and see what kind of jobs are available. And then it becomes a game of, well, if you need, you've always been a store clerk, so Circle K gives you a job. Now let's see about getting you clean clothes and a shower, and where are you going to go for those resources? Unfortunately, housing is very, very hard to come by in the Valley, and so oftentimes housing is the eventual goal, but it's not going to be something that we can help right away with, and so that's unfortunate. But in the meantime, we can help them, and then we have a great number of people that are very happy being homeless. It doesn't matter to us. We just kind of try to meet them where they are and support them how we can. And if that means that they come in and they rest and get out of the heat, that's what we provide for them. If they want to use the computer to communicate with people back home, we provide that for them. And sometimes they just need someone to talk to or a friendly word, because oftentimes when you're homeless, you don't get a friendly voice, you don't get kind words, and you certainly don't get smiles. So
no, you don't, and it's quite unfortunate. Carol, I want to ask you, how does your role as board president kind of factor into this, into the coalition?
Well, I'm very active, not only on the board of directors, and I will say we have an outstanding board of directors. Everybody has a niche of expertise, and I think that's what makes us such a powerful board, because we can call on those gifts. But I spend a good deal of time at the center. Because it is something I'm very passionate about. As I said, I worked for Catholic Charities for 10 years, and we serve the homeless, and that's when I really learned about the homeless and establishing a trusting relationship with them. So I just have carried it into the Homeless Coalition, and I'm usually there 1 to 2 days a week.
Offering a lot of services, like you mentioned. You mentioned the gentleman from Florida just kind of passing through. So the coalition isn't necessarily like full time, or I guess it can be full time for people who might need it.
It can be full time. We've run into some problems with the install of our sprinkler system, which it's kind of just been fraught with problems. But it's getting done, and we certainly appreciate our contractors, because they have just been over backwards in trying to get this in a timely manner for us. But at some point, it will be a full time service that some people will utilize. Yeah. And that's fortunate or unfortunate. What Carol didn't say about herself is that she also is instrumental in helping us manage some of our cases, because there are a great number of people that need health services, mental health services, and they need someone they trust to go with them. And that is something that Carol has stepped in to do, and that's really vital for a number of our people who really, they just need someone they know to kind of hold their hand and be in their corner.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, now Carol, you say something nice about Rhonda. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's great. There seems to be a lot of people in this coalition that really do care. Carol, like you mentioned, you've had a background helping out homeless people through a different outlet. You've now come together with the coalition here. Rhonda, you've stepped in. You stepped in August 2020. You see the plan here. You see the process. You see what's going on here. You take it upon yourself to join the coalition. You're now the executive director. I mean, like I mentioned, there are people here. You two are a good example of who really genuinely want to see these people have a better life, have a better opportunity, and not be constrained by their particular situation right now, because we're in the United States. It's a land of opportunity, and I think opportunity is there for people, and I think people like you make opportunity for the people who need it, and that's fantastic. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about some of the grant funding that the coalition was able to secure, and about that possible new full-time shelter right here on Countywide. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Terrifying Jobs, Bull Rider, take 2.
Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked up.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Two things we can count on every year.
A new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at C&B Homes.com.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
I want to welcome you back to Countywide. On today's show, we are talking about the Verde Valley Homeless Coalition, and I am joined, to my right is Executive Director Rhonda Bishop, and to her right is Board President Carol Quasula. We were talking a little bit about the origins of the coalition, how both Rhonda and Carol got involved. I want to talk about some grant funding. There was some grant funding you guys were trying to secure. Were you able to get it? If so, where is that grant funding going? When can those funds start to be used? And either of you can answer that.
Well, earlier this year, we received an ESG grant. It was emergency shelter, and we were able to we can now fully fund our overnight operations. In addition, we also secured the position of an outreach person who goes out to, you'll see him around at the different grocery stores, in the parks, out on Bill Gray Road, anywhere that we find homeless people. That's where he'll be. He brings them resources like water, and we're going to at some point try to bring out food boxes and things that they don't necessarily get into town to get. Often they don't get into town to get. So that was that grant. That's just, it's operational. It allows us to have people, which we have employees. We were one employee, and that was me, and now we actually have multiple. And then we recently, last week, I think we got our USDA grant, which is going to help us finish paying for the sprinkler system, which the community donated $22,000 towards our sprinkler system, and that was just incredible. You know, we had several write-ups in the newspaper, and people just came in our door giving us money and saying, "Make this happen because we believe in it." Wow. And so we didn't quite fully fund it, so USDA has helped us with that, putting in a second washer and dryer, because that's a lot of bedding when you are open 7 nights a week, and a shower. Oh. We're going to actually have a shower now, so that just one, but it's a start. And then later this year, we're hoping to get a CBDG, which is a community development block grant, which will allow us to purchase the property that we're on, so that we won't have a lease. And the property next to us. In the property next to us, we are going to be building transitional housing, which will house 6 individuals. There's currently a 4-bedroom modular on there that we can have a total of 10 individuals in transitional housing. For so many of our people who are working, they have an income, they just can't find a place, that is a place where they can go. So we're really excited about that, and that's our 2021. So
you talk about that, the community coming around and rallying and donating $22,000 for the, of course, collectively for the sprinkler system. Yes. Carol, I want to start with you because you've been around with the coalition just a little bit longer than Rhonda has. We just talk about the community response to the coalition when it started and how supportive they've been throughout your time with the coalition.
This community has just stepped up. I mean, ever since 2018. And I think that part of that is this is something the community has wanted. You know, they've actually wanted to see services that are making a difference, and they see that in us. And the fact that we're very welcoming, people can come by anytime and visit us, which they often do. The other thing is, I just want to mention in 2019, the board of directors and the executive director at that time, we actually put together our mission, our goals, our strategic plan. And what's so exciting as board president is to see all of those plans coming together. I mean, we wanted to do something in terms of the second level of housing after the shelter. So that's exciting, and that's something that anyone can go on our website and view, and they can see, as we do, how far we have come, and it's just extremely exciting. But we could not have done any of this without the community, because in the early years, all of our financial support came from the community. We didn't have outside grants. I mean, we had some small funding pots of money, but nothing like what we have now. But it's been the community that got us launched and moving in the right direction.
The website that Carol just mentioned is VerdiValleyHomelessCoalition.com. It was up on the screen for those of you watching on Verde Valley TV, but those of you listening on KYBC, VerdiValleyHomelessCoalition.com and KVNA, or KVRD, excuse me. I do want to ask, new full-time homeless shelter. Can we talk a little bit about how that project got started and where we're at with it today?
We've always had an emergency cold weather shelter. The city gave us a conditional use permit to operate when it was cold weather only, because the buildings we had inhabited excuse me, were not made for sleeping, and in order to have people sleeping there, we had to have sprinkler system. In lieu of that, during cold weather, we had 2 people on a fire watch, which they were just awake all night, walking around making sure there was no fires to keep people safe. We understood that in order to grow, we needed to have that sprinkler system. That way we could be a full-time shelter, and in order to get the grant funding, we needed to be that. So we just decided, okay, we're going to do it, and we just jumped in basically with both feet and said, no matter what, we're just going to do this. And then the community, like I said, rallied around us, and they helped us raise a significant amount of money. And so now the city has given us the right, once with the sprinklers ran, to open 7 days a week, and then we can house up to 20 people.
Give me a timetable as to, I know there's the sprinkler system is still getting sorted out, but where are we at with the timetable when this will be open as a full-time shelter?
We're projecting 7 to 10 days.
Oh, okay, very soon.
Yes, very soon.
Oh, great. Okay, awesome. So, awesome. Again, if you want to learn more about the coalition and get involved, again, VerdiValleyHomelessCoalition.com, 928-641-4298 is their phone number. Again, VerdiValleyHomelessCoalition.com, 928-641-4298. Full-time shelter, how exciting.
Yes, very.
Yeah, similar services, I'm assuming, to, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll keep talking about the Verde Valley Homeless Coalition with Executive Director Rhonda Bishop and Board President Carol Quasula, on the other side of this break. Stay with us, Countywide. I'll be right back.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Hi, this is Greg at Verdi Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles.
I want to welcome you back here to Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. On today's show, we are talking with the Verde Valley Homeless Coalition Executive Director Rhonda Bishop and Board President Quasula. We talked a little bit about the history of the coalition, some of the grant funding they were able to secure, and their full-time homeless shelter, which is up and running very, very soon. Again, if you want more information, VerdeValleyHomelessCoalition.com is the website, 928-641-4298. Carol, you told me during the break, big fundraiser had to get pushed. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes. During COVID last year, we could not have our fundraiser for obvious reasons. So this year, we were excited about a 60s theme called Retrofest, and we had that scheduled for October 9th, and that has had to be pushed back just because of the spread and the low vaccination rate in our county. But we're looking to, we're going to do it. It's just going to be probably more like spring.
Okay.
So our website, just, folks check it out there, but it'll be a fun event.
Right, and then just to donate in general, where would people go?
654 North Main. I am there generally by 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm there till 5 o'clock at night, 7 days a week. Somebody's there.
Perfect. Volunteers. Is there a need for volunteers? If so, where should they go to sign up?
654 North Main.
Okay.
Come in and talk to me. I'm there Monday through Friday, and call me on the phone and make an appointment if you really want to make sure that I'm there, because I periodically have things like this. But yes, we always need volunteers, daytime volunteers, to come in and help us sort clothing, put away clothing, clean. We can use volunteers to come in and serve meals when people are there. We can also use volunteers in our evening when we start our overnights.
Any misconceptions you want to clear up about the coalition?
A lot of people have misconceptions about the homeless in general, and everybody thinks that they're drug addicts, that they're alcoholics. That is true of some of them, but what is more true is that they are people, and they just need somebody to give them the time sometimes that it takes to have a kind word. Because I have somebody that I frequently speak to, and she has spent a lifetime not thinking she was worth anything. So when good things happen, she doesn't think it should happen to her. And changing that in her, it just takes a few minutes a day, but it's worth it, because now she's beginning to see that she is worth that. And that is what's going to get her out of homelessness, pure and simple. But take the time, take a minute to say hi to the guy that panhandles at your grocery store. You don't have to give him money. You don't have to give him anything but a kind word. That goes a long way.
Carol, do you have anything else to say?
Well, I would say a couple of things. I agree with what Rhonda just said, but we all need to practice kindness, and this population is no different than other people in our community. So be kind, And another way in which to donate is to go to our website. There's a donate button there, and that's a quick and easy way.
VerdeValleyHomelessCoalition.com. Rhonda Bishop, thank you very much. Carol Quasula, thank you very much for what you do. And again, VerdeValleyHomelessCoalition.com if you want more information. That is going to do it for this episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo, wishing you a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you again next time.